Welcome to my channel Youth's Buddy. This video is regarding COVID-19. Please like the video because it is free for you but it can help us. So if you like the information, please like and share the videos with your friends. Apart from this, now we will start the video. COVID-19 is known as coronavirus disease in 2019, is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. The virus is primarily transmitted through respiratory droplets when an infected person talks, coughs, or sneezes. It can also be transmitted by touching a surface contaminated with the virus and then touching one's face. The symptoms of COVID-19 can range from mild to severe and can include fever, cough, fatigue, shortness of breath, muscle aches, sore throat, loss of smell or taste, and diarrhea. Some people may also experience severe complications, such as pneumonia and acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS. The incubation period for COVID-19 is typically 5 to 6 days, but can range from 2 to 14 days. Older adults and people with underlying medical conditions, such as heart disease, diabetes, and lung disease, are at higher risk of developing severe COVID-19. There is no specific treatment for COVID-19, but supportive care, such as oxygen therapy and mechanical ventilation, can help manage symptoms in severe cases. The COVID-19 pandemic began in December 2019 in Wuhan, China, and quickly spread to become a global pandemic. The spread of the virus can be traced through a series of events and actions taken by individuals, communities, and governments. In December 2019, the first cases of COVID-19 were reported in Wuhan, China. The virus was initially thought to have been transmitted from animals to humans in a wet market in the city. In January 2020, the virus began to spread beyond China, with cases reported in other countries including Thailand, Japan, and South Korea. The first case in the United States was reported on January 20, 2020. In February 2020, outbreaks of COVID-19 were reported in other countries, including Italy, Iran, and Spain. These outbreaks were often linked to travel from China. In March 2020, on March 11, 2020, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. By this time, the virus had spread to over 100 countries. Countries around the world began implementing lockdowns and restrictions to slow the spread of the virus. In April 2020, the number of COVID-19 cases continued to increase globally, with the United States becoming the country with the highest number of reported cases. Many countries began to ramp up their testing and contact tracing efforts. In May 2020, the virus continued to spread globally, with significant outbreaks reported in Brazil, Russia, and India. Many countries began to ease their lockdowns and restrictions as case numbers began to stabilize. In June 2020, the number of COVID-19 cases continued to increase globally, with the United States, Brazil, and India reporting the highest number of cases. Many countries implemented mandatory mask-wearing policies to slow the spread of the virus. In July 2020, the virus continued to spread globally, with significant outbreaks reported in the United States, Brazil, India, and Mexico. Many countries began to implement travel restrictions to limit the spread of the virus. In August 2020, the number of COVID-19 cases continued to rise globally, with significant outbreaks reported in countries including India, Brazil, and the United States. Many countries began to implement localized lockdowns in areas with high case numbers. In September 2020, the virus continued to spread globally, with significant outbreaks reported in countries including India, Brazil, and the United States. Many countries continued to implement restrictions on travel and gatherings to slow the spread of the virus. In October 2020, the number of COVID-19 cases continued to rise globally, with significant outbreaks reported in countries including the United States, India, Brazil, and France. Many countries began to implement stricter lockdown measures to slow the spread of the virus. In November 2020, the virus continued to spread globally, with significant outbreaks reported in countries including the United States, India, Brazil, and Russia. Many countries began to ramp up their vaccination campaigns as vaccines began to be developed and approved for use. In December 2020, the number of COVID-19 cases continued to rise globally, with significant outbreaks reported in countries including the United States, India, Brazil, and the United Kingdom. Vaccinations began to be rolled out in many countries, with healthcare workers and vulnerable populations being prioritized. In conclusion, COVID-19 spread globally over the course of several months, with the virus first being reported in Wuhan, China, in December 2019. The virus continued to spread rapidly throughout 2020, with the World Health Organization declaring it a global pandemic in March of that year. Governments and health organizations around the world continue to work to contain the spread of the virus and develop effective treatments and vaccines. Thank you. Like, share and subscribe the video.